has been received for this from many pharmaceutical cochlear implant companies. Okay, it's not working again. Sorry for that. Sure. Yes, I can start again. Perfect. Oops. Sorry. Right, so it's not funded by any pharmaceutical cochlear implant companies, but to acknowledge a few things, right? Because none of this is my work. It's basically the internet, Google, PubMed, and a few CI companies I contacted because I had very limited idea about what they were going to speak about. Now, the reason why I kept this as the topic, right? I'm sure quite a few of you would have heard about the novel written by the famous author Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. And I'm going to start by reading the first few lines of this novel. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was a season of light, it was a season of darkness. It was a spring of hope, and it was a winter of despair. It is something because, when I talk about cochlear implants, I see the best of our results, I see the worst of them at the same time. And when you read about this novel, it basically talks of two cities which existed at that particular time in history, Paris and London. The symbolism being Paris representing a city which was full of negativity at that time. Chaos, violence, everything bad you can think of. And London at the same time represented something which was very positive, right? Safe, secure, happiness, joy, faith. And the French Revolution was what was discussed in this particular novel. Look at cochlear implants. Where does that come in, right? Cochlear implants, we all know it's a big hybrid of medical and engineering world where the sound waves are converted into electrical energy and makes us hear. In the London of cochlear implants, let's presume the best of the facilities if we exist today, which we see around us. There will be a neonatal hearing screening which would be universal, and you lead to early interventions in form of hearing aids, cochlear implants, and then you expect the best of the outcomes probably. Can I have the audio, please?
What leads to success? What is success? It is accomplishment in the perspective of success.
And I'm sure all of us who do implants have seen these kind of results, right? So it's nothing big. Just look at the intonations which this child has, operated at the right age, bilateral implants. That's what a London of cochlear implant can be. But look at the opposite side of it, the Paris of cochlear implants, where majority of India would probably be at this point of time. We don't have a universal newborn hearing screening in place, so therefore the early intervention absolutely goes in for a toss. Right? You have things schools which are still existing, right? We teach them sign language. And this is again one of my own patients. And look at him right now. Would you even understand what he was saying? Just wishing me a happy birthday, right? Didn't make me smile, right? Because this is not the best of the result which I would expect this patient to have. But this is the range of results which a cochlear implant can give. And therefore, that's something which probably is what we need to change. Sadly enough, we still have such schools existing in our country. This is Jaipur, in fact, where I am working. These schools are still existing. And that's basically because we have failed to take care of this kind of a disability. Now, there are various socio-economic roadblocks because of which these things still exist. Obviously, there is a delayed diagnosis which is happening. You have non-scientific treatments. You have very limited awareness about cochlear implants in the general faculty and even among the medical fraternity. And the cost factor obviously comes in. Right, let's look at a few things which we still need to fight against. Right, this is one of those videos which are very easily available on the YouTube.
उनकी माताजी को दोनों कानों से बहुत कम सुनाई दे रहा है। डॉक्टर्स ने ऑपरेशन की सलाह दे दी है। तो क्या उनकी माताजी के कान ठीक हो सकते हैं ऑपरेशन के बगैर?
अवनी के माताजी के नहीं, पूरी देश की माताओं के कान ठीक हो जाएंगे। एक तो ईयर ग्रिड वटी ले ले और ईयर ग्रिड डोप कान में डालने, नहीं तो सुदर्शन एक पौधा होता है उसका, अथवा जो ये जो लहसुन होता है उसके भी कूट करके उसका रस एक बूंद दो बूंद कान के अंदर डाल देते हैं। और ईयर ग्रिड बहुत जबरदस्त है। अनुलोम विलोम जो कर रहे हैं मेरे साथ,
while we talk about cochlear implants, there are people who talk about this kind of a treatment, and which is probably much more believed than any of us talk about it. Then you come to the cost factor, right? That's a big issue in our country. However, we have armed forces running a wonderful sponsored program. We have multiple other government programs existing in our country today, the central and the state programs. But majority of these programs do have a big issue. Right? Whenever something comes for free, the value is not as much. So we do have a huge number of patients not following up, ultimately landing up as non-users, limited speech therapies, and the mapping, etc., which are required are probably not being done as you would want them to be done. Major General Shirish, when he mentioned, showed a video, right, of a school which was having the national anthem being played. This was a similar video. I'm not going to play it again. I'm just going to tell the things which are still existing, and because of which our Honorable Prime Minister had to make sign language a part of the curriculum. It's a very good thing because there are so many people who really need that. But again, it just shows the kind of failures which we are dealing with day in, day out, right? And that's where I talk about Paris to London. It's probably going from a natural stupidity to an artificial intelligence, which would probably be the major role of a CI revolution as we move ahead in this technology. Now, do we know what's artificial intelligence? That's the first thing which I asked myself maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And this is my son, right? And he probably knows more about artificial intelligence than what I know. He's in 4th class right now. And when you look at this, I don't know if it's going to magnify it here. Okay, so when you look at this, right, this is what in his hand. He's playing chess on a mobile, right? And the mobile, whichever app he's using, is able to see what he's doing, analyze the next step which could be done, and then making that move, right? Probably one of the I realized this is probably one of the first major thing in artificial intelligence. And that's what we remember in 1997, right? That was the first time when we had the Grandmaster Garry Kasparov against Deep Blue, and Deep Blue beating him in a chess match, right? The series of chess matches which followed. Probably one of the biggest examples of artificial intelligence existed. Now, coming to the more theoretical part of it, if you were to define artificial intelligence, there are multiple ways where you can. There are many terms which are being used for this. And I'm sure for the next 3 days, all of us are going to hear and learn about all of these terminologies. Not easy to grasp, right? For me, it was especially difficult, but let me just, realize in a very, manner in which children learn, this is how I went about it.
I wonder. AI stands for Artificial Intelligence, which means creating intelligent machines that can think and learn like humans. AI systems can process information, make decisions, and adapt to new situations, much like human brains can. AI is a field of computer science that aims to create machines that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as recognizing speech and images, playing games, and even driving cars. AI is used in many different applications and industries. One of the most well-known examples of AI is voice assistants like Siri and Alexa, which use natural language processing and machine learning algorithms to understand and respond to human voice commands. AI is also used in self-driving cars, which rely on sensors and machine learning algorithms to navigate and make decisions on the road.
So we're probably surrounded a lot by AI than we can actually think of. And it really works in a miraculous manner. You give it data, it stores that data, analyzes data, and gives you results. And the more data you give to AI, the more experienced and more intelligent it becomes, and therefore gives you even better things than probably you can even dream of. Look at a few terms here. Artificial intelligence would be sensing, reasoning, acting, and adapting. Machine learning, when you give these algorithms, which performance improves with time, right? You can actually keep on learning with them. And then you have deep learning with multiple layer of neural networks, which will make a job much more easier. Coming to CI, right? When I talk about cochlear implants, I really want my outcomes to improve. Now, there are various fields in CI where you can work on. You can work on candidacy, you can work on surgery, you can work on switch-on habilitation and a better implant technology. Everything, ladies and gentlemen, has been discussed in AI. And when I went about searching the literature on this, it's a review article published in 2020, so 4 years ago. Right? Till then, we had 298 articles which had already been written on CI and AI. So huge work already been done, majorly focusing on signal processing, mapping which is required post-operatively, augmenting the surgery mechanics, and personalized medicine approaches. We'll deal with all of them, briefly before we end this. So candidacy, right? Most important thing is candidacy, right? I'll not get into the politics of it, but we all know it's very difficult to choose the right candidate, right? And cochlear implant candidacy is no easier a job, right? We all know it involves a huge things, and many a time we miss out on the right set of patients, specifically adults, because in our country we don't focus a lot on adult cochlear implant program as of now. But even if we were to look at the Western world, the 60-60 guideline, the audiometric threshold and the speech recognition thresholds, even in US, this is a 2022 study, only 2.1% of the eligible adults get a cochlear implant. Right? So that's how far behind US is. Forget India for now. When you look at even the American and the Western literature, they are highly unutilized cochlear implant services, even for adults. The major reason being lack of clarity. When do you do an implant and whom do you refer for an implant, right? And that's where we have various literature talking about, and they have algorithms which are based on it now. And if you really compare and feed in the data in this one particular AI thing, which gives you a demographic profile, the audiometric thresholds, the traditional expanded criteria, and the insurance, you just feed this into the machine. If the machine says you go ahead with an implant, you do an implant. So there's no lack of clarity then, right? If AI tells you to do it, you just go about doing it, makes your job super easy to decide, right? Pediatric is a very different ball game, and we deal with it day in, day out. Variable outcomes, however, is still an issue. We may go for a 1-year-old child, do bilateral implants, the results may still be not as good. And one of the things which had been done is predict to prescribe approach, right? Predict beforehand which child will need more habilitation, more therapies, more mapping. Can we really do that? So there has been a study going on right now between universities of Hong Kong and Chicago. And when I talk about is imaging the brain, minute details, feeding the details into the AI thing, and you get the results, which child will do how much, and you need to focus more on. Even if you give them the same technology, operate at the same age, they may not be doing the same. So this tells you which child you need to focus more on. So if you didn't kind of look at it, the present scenario would be initially screening and identifying the deficit. Keep on monitoring it periodically. Use hearing aids till the loss becomes severe, and then do an implant, right? We need to look at a huge channel here, and that's where many of the patients actually are not given this opportunity to get implanted. With AI, this is what we have, and this has been there in quite a few literature. You feed them hearing tests right at the first time, give them the genetics, give them the imaging, give them biomarkers, and it will predict the cause or determine the cause for you, predict the time course of hearing disability, when it will become severe and when it becomes so severe that you ultimately need to shift from a hearing aid to a cochlear implant, and then determine that optimal time for intervention. So right on the first day, if I were to do these investigations and give it to AI, I will know that probably this person will need a cochlear implant at 10 years of age. So that makes my life very easy, no fallouts if this thing is really put into place. That's about candidacy for us. For us as surgeons, many of whom are surgeons here, we always look for how AI would affect our surgeries. We have navigations coming in, but